Okay, let's see what this does. I said start. Okay, I think I'm waiting for myself. Here I am. Hey everybody, I kept my promise. I said I was going to be here tonight at 6, and I am here tonight at 6. Well, right now, I don't see too much activity yet, but hopefully that will change. I advertised this, so let me brought some stuff down here so that I can maybe get an idea of what's going on here. But anyways, it's Saturday night, and I got one person watching here, but yeah, it's a Saturday night here in Cedar Rapids. This is my new house behind me. This is my first live from the house. That's the temperature here in Cedar Rapids right now. Lovely 90 degrees out. So I am staying inside today, although I did get a antenna, my outdoor antenna actually outdoors, so now I can watch all the TV that I want, and actually the local news is on right now because it's 6 p.m. on a Saturday. Got 2 people. Well, anyways, if you are watching this live and you got questions, you can just pop the little chat window out, introduce yourself. I'll just pop a message in there. But anyways, what I'm going to do tonight is I've got the giant rubber, or a Rubbermaid roughneck thing. That's basically all that I felt was worth keeping in my past. Oh wow, one person dropped off. But anyways, I think what I'll do is I'll go through it, and come hell or high water, whatever happens, happens. So now it says my stream health is not good. Uh-oh. It looks okay. I am on the internet, so got my windows positioned here. So yeah, this whole bin here of stuff. We'll just start going through things one at a time here. And what do we have in this little thing here? We got photographs that I did when I was in college. Some black and white film. D76 developer. This was an Art 161 class that I had when I was at the center, and was learning photography for the first time, or at least, you know, on a professional level. Although I had been working in TV for a while, but nice collection of National Geographic magazines there. Former job that I had. So yeah, that's a little bit of that. We'll put that aside. So here's some stuff that I saved. Let's see here. This is my diagnosis letter. There you can see the date. And then right after all that happened, actually a year before I got my diagnosis, I actually had to sit down and talk with Mom for one night, and more or less came up with a long list of questions. Asked her about my past and wrote them down. For instance, one of the things that I asked my mom was that did I like being held, and she said no. Uh, do do do. Did I have trouble handling change? And Mom kept a journal, and I actually have one of those journals. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh yeah, my favorite reading material, atlases and catalogs. Wasn't books. What else? Was I hypersensitive to touch sounds and sights? And Mom says I didn't want to be held, touched. And she said I hated the intermittent wipers on the car. What else do we have here? These are just other general observations. Had to do things my own way. Easier for me to handle the situations. I was not trusting of anybody. Got along better with kids who were older than me, and she said that generally I was aloof in my own world. Did I hate crowds? Mom says, hard to take places, not comfortable in new places. And so speaking of journals, here's one of those journals, and you've seen bits and pieces of it before in some of my vlog videos, but Mom had a bunch of these, and she threw them all out, and she missed this one. But basically, this was kind of, you know, my parents journaling my day, trying to figure out, you know, how I ticked. And at one point I had gone through, and I had actually marked some things that I felt were noteworthy in this one. When I was going through stuff before, or when I was going through things, reviewing my life for the first time back in 2004, and so yeah, here was a here's a notation. Here's a notation where I had self-injury during a meltdown at school. And what else? Oh yeah, having fun at recess. So yeah, apparently I had a bit of a rough morning. But just kind of going through this there. I know something really bad happened here that day because the page got ripped out. That'd be the only reason why that it can. That's the only reason why that would have happened. And so yeah, that was a little journal. So now here we go. Speaking of reading, we always had reading goals. As you can see, this was 7th grade. Now I hated non. Or I actually say I really. It was hard for me to find good fiction. And so I think we had to read something like 900 pages a quarter. So if you figure that out, that's like 300 pages a month to do that. And I only made the goal once, the second quarter. And you kind of see the books that I read. I mean, the one thing about reading the books was that you really didn't have too much of a choice over what reading material you had, because they had a list of books that you had to choose from. It wasn't just like go into the library and pick up Stephen King. So like of all the books on this one that I remember, I liked Dragon's Blood and Through the Hidden Door by Rosemary Wells. Those are the two books that I remember the most from that particular time frame, second quarter, 7th grade, 1992. So anyway, so now we got some artwork here. This is a picture that I drew of the space shuttle. It was done on the very last day of first grade. So actually, this would have been an era when the space shuttle wasn't flying because of the Challenger, the whole Challenger thing there. But yeah, there you see the shuttle, and actually, I think I did a fairly decent job of drawing it over. So I think that's a pretty old piece of artwork. So now I got a thing here from when I was in kindergarten. It's on construction paper that's kind of tattered. So yeah, we're going back a long time here. Have I changed? And so basically you got two pictures of me here. That's me on my very, very first day of kindergarten. And then this was me, I think maybe like a week before into kindergarten. And then there's another picture of me on the first day of school looking not so nervous. So that is that. Those are just some camera negatives. And then also when I was in kindergarten, they had this reading program that was put on by IBM. You did it through their PC Junior computer line. It was called Reading to Read. And you had these work journals that you went through. And as you can see, I had fun doodling on the back of these things. But these things, we started these, what's the date? So yeah, November 21st, so like right before I turned 6 was when this started. And 3, 4, and actually one of these, on Work Journal 3, I did my work on the number 3, and I don't know how well you can see the date, but it's 128, and that would actually have been January 28th, 1986. And so the day of the, since I was showing you that space shuttle picture, since this would have been January 28th, 1986, so that's what I did the day that the Space Shuttle Challenger blew up. And actually I remember that day very well because my Price is Right got interrupted with Dan Rather and all the commotion of that day. My dad trying to tell me. So yeah, that's my work. That's my handwriting from January 28th, 1986. But I definitely remember my dad telling me that, yeah, the space shuttle blew up and the teacher was killed. And I remember my teacher telling me the same thing, trying to explain it all. And I remember watching the evening news with Dan Rather. And actually, you can find that evening news broadcast online, too. So, quite a piece of history in our country, and that was my recollection of that day, January 28th, 1986. So now what do we got here? This is just stuff from high school, just notes and stuff. I got my thing of school pictures, but since that's got but since that has names on it, I'm not going to show you those because I don't want to give away names of anybody. Okay, so here is a thing from preschool. So this is me and my mom. This probably would have been 1984. And this was at the Lincoln Park Zoo, and they had the lion drinking fountain. You know, in order to get a drink, you had to stick your head inside the mouth of a lion. Quite a novelty little thing that they had there. And speaking of novelty little things, if you've ever been to the Milwaukee Zoo, they have those moldable machines. I don't know if they still have them there, but I remember my very first trip to the zoo. It probably would have been like a year before this picture. My dad actually got me one of those little moldable things, and it was a brown bear. And because it was brown, I thought that the bear was chocolate, so I tried to eat it. And I quickly found out that the bear wasn't chocolate, and it was actually a very vile-tasting plastic. I remember spitting it out, and my dad yelling at me, "What the heck are you doing?" And then for a long time, I had a moldable bear on my shelf in my bedroom with a missing ear because I ate it. So now this is an abstract piece of art from 5th grade. It's supposed to be I guess you'd call it like a caricature of my face. I remember just struggling like you wouldn't believe trying to do this because... Hi, Justin. Yeah, I remember the train too. That train was really, really nice. I remember every time that we went there, we had to actually, I had to ride it, and I do have a few pictures of me at the zoo, believe it or not. But anyways, here, this is the, as I was saying here, this is the, this was like an abstract piece of art that we had to do, and I remember having a heck of a time trying to do this because it was abstract, and it's basically a thing where you make where you cut out your face, you trace out your face and you cut it out, and you're supposed to make mirrors of it. And it just took me forever to do this because I just could not grasp the concept of being abstract. And so since you mentioned the train, believe it or not, I can pull up a picture and I can throw it on screen. So let me navigate here. You're not seeing this very well here. Let me... if I can find it. So do this here. Hopefully that... hopefully you're seeing it now. But yeah, that's kind of a... this is like the only picture we have of me with the train in Milwaukee. And actually what happened was that the camera was one of those Kodak Instamatics. The advance mechanism broke, and so there's like 3 pictures. There's like 2 of me with the train, and then there's one that you can kind of tell where the camera was pointed down at the ground. The new Zooland train, elevation 767 feet at the zoo in Milwaukee here. So I'll hop back to that. Yeah, I see myself. That worked. I know they had 2 steam engines. I don't remember them well, but I know that they had 2, and that they kind of did kind of a, kind of a kind of thing where they just kind of lapped each other. So what else do we got here? This is a duck of some kind. Kind of pastel-y colors here. This is also from 5th grade. This was actually 1991 when I did this, and I'm trying to figure out... oh, wait. Okay, I remember. Okay, I know what I did with this. This is a artwork where you draw an animal out and paint it, and you incorporate the letters that spell their name into the actual animal itself. So up here is the D, U, C, and then K. And then I just painted the letters colors and then just did other colors around there. So this was a Mother's Day card I did in 1st grade, so we're going back in time 30 years. And of course I had to pick yellow on purple, the worst possible contrast that you could have to do something. And then we got this is another Mother's Day card from 3rd grade. There's a date on it. – And this is what I wrote. This day belongs to you. Happy Mother's Day. My picture dictionary. So what do we have in this picture dictionary here? So we have an apple, and then we have a banana, a cat, although for some reason, oh, I got a cup up there too. I have a very mutated cat. I forgot the ears, the eyes, and the mouth, and the nose. There's an elephant, a duck, giraffe, a fish, hot, and in. So we're getting to verbs and adjectives now, or nouns and adjectives. Jam, kitchen, stove, refrigerator there you see. What else we got? An octopus, a nail, although I forgot the I, but I think we were, I don't think we were quite to that point where we were working on being letter perfect with our spelling. I think it was just like working on phonics. A quarter. Run, snake. I think it's ukulele. Kind of looks like a bawn, actually. Huh. A whale with no E on the end. And of course, Z for zoo. So that's that. Don't drop it. Another piece of artwork from 5th grade. Spiderweb with, I think this is just like India ink here. So now we get to some more interesting stuff here. Teacher's notes home. Apparently on Monday, October 5th, I had a meltdown. Hi, Jacob. Your little chat thing just popped up here, so those are my two viewers right now, Jacob and Justin. Thanks for watching me here. So let's see if there's anything here. Another note, home indicating a meltdown. As you can see there, I did a lot of crying on that day. But I did get 100 on my spelling test. So that was a good part of the week. And so yeah, these go on like this for a bit. Let's see if there's anything else interesting in here. Apparently I had a very hard time sitting still and listening to the group. And this was at School Forest Ice Age Trail. I got 3 viewers now, and I've been up for 24 minutes, so I got Justin, I got Jacob, and whoever my third person is now, if you want to sign in, will the mystery guest please sign in and say hi? Was that Gary Moore? Or was that Bud Collier? I can't remember. Who did, what's my line? Here, I'll look it up on my iPhone quick here. What's my line? What's my line? No, actually, that was Charles Daly. I was completely wrong on both counts. So, any other things here worth noting? So apparently on December 3rd, I had a terrible trouble Monday and Tuesday. I had to eat in the principal's office at noon Tuesday. From what I hear, his noon hour behavior is always bad. Scott is pulling some of the things he did at the beginning of the year. He may be asked to eat elsewhere at noon. Going through some notes here. Ah yes, March 14th, 1988. Oh boy, now it's telling me that my video bandwidth is bad. Hopefully I did not go offline here. 20... It says I'm going out at like 17:26. So I don't know if this is believable or not. That says that I'm having video quality problems. My video's getting blocky. You can drop me a note in the chat, but yeah, March 14th, 1988, this was a day where my teacher literally had to drag me kicking and screaming into the office because of a meltdown. And basically the paper here only tells really half the story. So why is this thing fussing? It says that OBS says that I've got a good picture going out. But YouTube says that my video output is low here. It really doesn't look that bad on my end of things, so I'm just going to assume that I've got a good picture going out here. Okay, and then I've got a yearbook with the basketball team. The local high school basketball team. So I don't know if any of these people probably ring a bell to anybody watching, but that's what I got in the thing here. Oh, and then I've got a student assignment notebook. For whatever reason, I decided to save that, but thanks, Jacob. That's good to know. He says that I am still alive, but I really didn't fill it out because, you know, the whole ADHD part of things. Even though I had this thing, it just never occurred to me to just actually fill it out. Although I did make note of something here. You can see my lovely handwriting. Alright, and then more school paperwork here. These are my immunization records. I know a lot of people have said that autism, there is a link between vaccines and their kids getting their shots and them becoming autistic. They regress after they get their shots. And that was actually one of the very first questions in those papers that I showed you earlier. That was actually one of the very, very first questions that I had asked my mom was, did I ever have any kind of odd reactions or, you know, anything strange happen after shots? And Mom said that she never noticed any changes with me after I had my shots. And these are all the shots that I've had, and believe it or not, this is still current because I haven't had anything since you see that date there in the corner. And then we've got career interest inventory. I don't remember where this came from, but it apparently I thought that I was going to be a machine operator, and I actually did some machine operating, but I decided that I did not care for that too much because you have to work at a pace that is much more, shall we say, casual than what I was used to or what I would like to do. But oh yeah, and then learning style inventory. This was something that they gave me in the 8th grade when they were trying to figure out exactly why I was being such a bad student as far as grades go, and so apparently you fill it out according to your likes and dislikes, and then you score it. But I had to take a lot of, aside from the fact that I had to do, that I almost wound up in really, hardcore special education stuff, was the fact that, afterwards they were still trying to get me help, and I would take. It's getting dark out now. I'll turn on a light. That'll maybe help a little better. But I was taking. I took all these assessments because they wanted to put me in all these special remedial classes, and what wound up happening was that I would take their tests, and the tests show that I was not deficient at all. But yet, when I would be in the classroom, I would constantly flunk and not turn in assignments and stuff, and. But apparently, this is a state testing, and so that's where that would have, and it was stuff like this that had them all confused because I never had any problems with the tests, and I think those results are around here somewhere. Knowledge and concepts. This was actually high school. This was actually when I took it in high school, my sophomore year. You can see the things there. I was pretty like David Letterman holding stuff in front of the camera, but you can see there I pretty much was right down the center or advanced in a lot of areas. So it was quite the conundrum trying to figure out what to do with me. See, and then I got, these are grade school report cards. So now this is, let's see here. Let's see if I can do these in order here. So yeah, this is my first grade report card that I got here. There's a date for you. I am reading Magic Afternoon, which is the 3rd book of the basic Hardcourt Brace books. I know the words, and I need to work on voice control so I can read with expression and understanding. I need to make a greater effort to complete work on time. And then we finished chapter 4 in the Addison Wesley mathematics books. And apparently I understand the concepts well. And so then we got see, they didn't use a letter system. They like A B C D. Like in first grade, it was they just gave you like like S's and There's actually a key on the back here to decode what each one means here. E means exceptional progress, S means satisfactory progress, I means improving, and I needs improvement, and NTY, not yet taught. And so basically, like let's take mathematics. I got all S's, which means that I was making satisfactory progress. But first grade, I had a teacher who I was fairly compatible with, so quite honestly, it went well because I was in a classroom environment that I was comfortable in. So now we get to second grade, which is where a lot of those notes and journals were from that I was showing you earlier here. And so a lot more different, or shall we say, a much different, different look on it. If you read that there are a lot of NIs, which means needs improvement. And on the back of it here, this ought to be the big telling one right here. Social skills. And so these are just teachers' basic comments. And I'll let you kind of read through that. And apparently I need further drill on the number facts. I enjoy working with Scott even though he is very trying. He is a pleasant boy with unused potential. I appreciate the parents' cooperation throughout the year. And so it says that I was promoted, although technically on paper I did fail second grade. So then we get to third grade. Now third grade we went to a number system. And the number system was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, with 1 being the best and 5 being failing. And third grade for me, the odd numbered years for me in third grade were first, third, fifth grade in grade school. Those were the good years, and then the even numbered years were the bad ones for me. And I think it was kind of luck of the draw more than anything else. But like my third grade teacher was, she was brand new out of her internship, and this was actually the first class that she was teaching on her own, so she really didn't have much of an expectation, and she was able to work with me very well. And as you can see, of course, the lower the number, the better the grade. And then these were teachers' comments. I had a good quarter pertaining to my classroom behavior. Scott does, however, really need to concentrate on turning in neat work. March of '89, I have shown much improvement in most of his classes. However, he needs to work on language skills and penmanship. At times it is difficult to understand Scott's written work because of his laconiness. And I'm looking forward to a strong fourth quarter. And then so, this is what my teacher wraps out the year with. I am very impressed with the way Scott finished the school year. He has shown a very good attitude towards school. So that was third grade. And again, it was all about the teachers. If I had a teacher that I was compatible with, then I was in good shape. But if I had a teacher that I was not compatible with, then it was a horrible year for me. And speaking of horrible years, let's get to fourth grade. This was another year where I flunked on paper, but I was passed because even though I did horrible on the homework thing, I actually did fairly decent on the testing. So as you can see, 4s are very low. 4s are very low. I flunked science in quarter 3. And what else? Language. That autism thing there. Yeah, I pretty much flunked it straight through. And so here, back of this report card is very, 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 very filled up with stuff, so much that my teacher had to wrap it around and finish up at the top of the list. But that's the I'm sorry to say that Scott has not made much progress in several areas. Even with teacher-monitored assigned assignment sheets, work isn't always complete. This quarter, Scott has often added irrelevant comments during discussions rather than... I'm trying to read this off my screen here. Rather than all good quality comments. And this I'm going to have to pull back down to read. He is having problem getting along with others both in and out of class. When he talks about facts on TV, I've tried challenging him to find proof or related information in the library. He's not willing to do that. He feels that he has remembered accurately and that is that. This I'm right attitude frequently causes problems learning because he thinks he knows the answers. Scott, and what I've marked wrong must not be right. This attitude also causes problems dealing with others, both students and adults. I've seen Scott's main strength as remembering what he sees, hears, and reads when he is interested. So those were some comments relating to my life in third grade. And so now, fifth grade. As you can see, it was kind of a mixed bag, really. Fifth grade was kind of a mixed bag. As you can see, those 4s kind of bouncing everywhere, but I didn't get any 5s. So now fifth grade was when I started having issues with math. And let me get this down here. No, I put it on the wrong side. As you can see, I always tested good, but I did horrible with my daily work. You can see, when I did the tests, I got 83. My average was 83, but yet my daily was 69. That was for quarter 4. And then we have these super speller certificates, of which I have several of these. Yeah, fifth grade. I'll put this away, and then we will progress on to sixth grade. So in sixth grade, we went through, and we switched over to an actual, real letter system here. So, sixth grade report card. Again, kind of a mixed bag. But sixth grade was kind of the year where I started diverging with other people because I had a fairly... So Jacob, how did you make it through school? I just looked at the chat and you seen that you popped up that message. But yeah, let's just say that I had teachers who were very willing to give me the benefit of the doubt. Because I had mentioned that actually I flunked second grade, I flunked fourth grade on paper, but yet my teachers, they passed me because they said that honestly, I knew the stuff, I just wasn't in the right environment to learn it. Or at least display that I could learn it. And, oh boy, when I got to junior high school, it was even worse. Because basically all 3 years of junior high school were pretty much a washout for me, and again, it was kind of the same thing where, I would take the tests, and I would do just fine on the tests, but yet my homework was an absolute nightmare, so it was always kind of, one of those things where the teacher's like, well, what do we do with him? And it's like, well, if he's did good with the test, we'll just move him on and see if he crashes and burns. And apparently, I never did. And honestly, by the time I got to high school, oh, like I was able to put a lot of the ADHD stuff behind me when I got to high school, and I was actually able to focus. I mean, it wasn't the best, but I was actually able to get my homework done. So I never brought much undue attention to myself when I was in high school, as far as performance-wise. And then just lots of notes and stuff in here. Notebooks. I still have notebooks with pencils in them. So this is... I'm trying to think here when this would have been from. I have a book of music from music class in grade school. See, now music was something that was another thing for me because, oh my goodness. What's the best way to describe this? I remember having a heck of a time trying to learn musical notation because it absolutely made no sense to me that the scale started with C and ended with A. I'm like, why doesn't it start with A and go, through G? And then the other thing too I had was, why does it repeat? Why is this A different than this A? Why couldn't they just call, like A2, why couldn't they call it, H note, That was kind of how I saw, or at least how I felt that music should be, and I could never wrap my brain around the whole C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C scale that they have for musical notation. So I absolutely hated music class. And then Nikola Tesla, electrical genius. What else do I got here? And apparently, I got 88% on a test in 5th grade. So what else do we got here? We got lots of paper in here. So now we got, I got handwriting samples. I want to say these are from 1st grade. Remember The Simpsons? Take out a sheet of safety paper. So yeah, my computer is good. Is a good thing for math problems and math tests and stories. I like my computer. That's always been kind of the extent of my creative writing. See spot, run. Run spot, run! And then something that I just saved for no real reason. Dedication, Manitowoc Public Utilities, fluidized bed boiler, July 11th, 1992. So if you've ever wondered how old the fluidized bed boiler is in the Manitowoc Public Utilities power plant, now you know. Okay, 3rd grade artwork here. There's a date. And this is me when I grew up. But it says that I will stay in Wisconsin, which obviously I did not. The story of drinking water. Something else from MPU. I think this is something else from 1st grade. The Rain. Kind of a progressive, kind of like progressive storytelling. And for the rain, I just took a blue crayon and draw some lines across the screen or across the paper there. I don't know. Can you even still get construction paper? Rain can be made into thunderstorms, it says. What I am thankful for. 3rd grade. I am thankful for the help and the money and Thanksgiving. I don't know why I said that. And thankful for my life and study hall, which was actually noon hour detention, but that was just what they called it, was study hall. I had a good dinner. I got 1 gift. Again, my creative writing skills in action there. So this must be stuff from 3rd grade, because this came out of this folder here. I am very, very yellow, so I'm going to sneak around, and I'm going to change a setting on my camera here and hopefully not knock it over, because I know y'all don't want to see me yellow. That should be a little better. There we go. That looks a little better, although my window blinds are a little turquoise. Lots of loose leaf photo. Packers training camp 91. I'm probably the only person watching this, or I'm probably the only person of the group here that actually remembers the 91 Packers, but it was one of the worst years ever for the Green Bay Packers. They were 4-12, and Lindy Infante got the boot. But the good thing out of that was we got Ron Wolf, and we got Mike Holmgren, and we got Brett Favre, and we have the streak of good luck that's been going on ever since. So this was sponsored by Shopko. Shopko is proud to be a premium sponsor of the 1991 Great Green Bay Kickoff. And I got this because we actually went up there. I remember spending the day with Dad watching the Packers practice up in Green Bay at the little facility that they got that's across the street from the stadium. But yeah, and then we got the Packers here from 1991. A very unimpressive group of people, save for a couple of exceptions. And I'm trying to think here. They got a music lineup here. Ha! So now you see the full page ad here. I've always thought that this was quite interesting because if this ad was done today, it would be quite different. When Ray Johnson follows sports, he follows sports. So he's got himself a little portable TV. He's got a bunch of newspapers and magazines, and he's apparently writing notes down on a legal pad. Now, if this was today, that would all be replaced with this. It's amazing how technology has progressed in 25 plus years. Is there anything else in here interesting? Michael Morales. Gotta love that hair. So yeah, a little blast from the past there. I graduated from there, class of '98. So what else do we got going here? So we're kind of coming into stuff here. Third grade, age 9. I actually remember putting this together. It was go through magazines and cut out pictures and paste them together and put them in a thing here. And so this was a science project. And I got an S plus on it. Okay, so now we have junior high school writing portfolio. A crossword puzzle that I got 19 out of 18 on, and I think that's probably why I saved it. But what else do we got in here that's kind of worth going over here? This piece, entitled "Tracking is my best writing effort during the second quarter," and this I did well. This I did well on presentation. So there's a date, and actually I got a D plus on this. Yeah, I got a D plus on it. And this is what my lovely little teacher wrote. Scott, all of your sentences except one begin with the. Work on variety. Well, that's me and creative writing in a nutshell. And what else do we got here? Anything notable? Although I did have a thing for Looney Tunes back in junior high school, and I was able to figure out how to draw a very mean Wile E. Coyote. Did I date this at all? So yeah, March 12th, so 7th grade, that would have been 93. And then I got a binder full of stuff from high school. Nothing really too interesting in here. The Iowa Test of Basic Skills. I live in Iowa now. How ironic. And so apparently I took this twice. And so from spring of '89, these were my standardized testing scores. And then I took it again in 5th grade. And so this is from the spring of 91. I was 11 years, 5 months old. And those are my scores for that. I really don't know. This certifies that I have completed Basic A training. And there's a date on that. So if any of you ever cut yourself, I know how to handle that. Yeah. More abstract art from 5th grade. It's just my name. Fill out the shape of a rollerblade. A rollerblade shoe there. I need to actually sort this and figure out what's worth keeping and what's worth not keeping. What is this little thing here? Oh. More artwork. Although this is not dated, but I'm going to guess that this is from 1st grade. I've been through that about a half dozen times. I had a thing for Basco bridges. I used to make them out of Legos and I would draw them on paper too. And I saved one of the drawings. I don't know when this is from either. It's not dated, but I'm also guessing that this might be from 1st grade. We're starting to get to the bottom of the bottom. Now I have a feeling that this is from kindergarten because we actually hatched chicken eggs. But as you can see, it's the progression of an egg maturing into a chick. And this has got to be from kindergarten. Because we did that in kindergarten. More artwork. This was from... Oh wow. I even wrote it on the back. So remember the Garfield Halloween special? Yeah, I know you remember that. Hi Zombie Geek. I just seen your message pop up. But you remember the Garfield Halloween special, don't you, from the mid-'80s? Where Garfield and Odie, they end up out on that raft and they end up at that haunted house. Well, I had seen it on TV like a couple of days before I did this, and so in lieu of actually coming up with an original creative story, I tried to write down the script for that verbatim on this piece of paper, and I didn't quite have enough room, and of course I turned the paper upside down, so when they would flip it to read it, they'd have to read upside down. But basically, that was 3rd grade. The Garfield Halloween TV special, as seen through the eyes of a 3rd grader. And then there's Garfield and Odie. And then I'm recreating a scene in the show where they're kind of going down the river. Quite honestly, if I thought about that earlier, I might try and find it and pull up a screenshot. Oh boy, more paperwork and stuff from high school. Okay, so like the one time that I bought a yearbook was 1995, coming out of junior high school, going into high school. And basically this whole thing was compiled by a bunch of preps. And if I can find the picture, I will show you why I never got another yearbook again. So yeah, there's like picture collages that they paste it together in Photoshop, or well, actually didn't have Photoshop. I think they just like threw it down on the copier machine or something to make it. But if I can find the one page, then the one picture that really irked me, because one of the few moments where I had my picture taken, actually participating in something that wasn't involving the office, they decided to cut it out. And so, you must believe to achieve, it says. Well, when I was in junior high school, I certainly didn't believe that anything was worthwhile at that place, because junior high school for me was basically cattle herding is what it was. The teachers nothing more than people with prods and be like, zzz, 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 move you along, move you along. So where the heck was that picture? Of course, when I want to find it, I can't find it. That's how it always goes, is you can't find it when you need to find something. Oh, yeah. Where, oh where is it? I cannot find the picture for the life of me. I know it's in here, because I saw it once. And it was in one of those, here it is. Aha! So basically right there at the bottom. See the snowman? Now look to the right. The person you see clipped off there on the end, next to my gym teacher there, Mr. Pedon, that was me right there, and they decided to cut me out of the picture, even though there was plenty of room to do it next to Mrs. Rummelfeiner, the German teacher here. But yeah, in all of junior high school, they tried so damn hard to put me in special ed classes, and the only one that they were ever able to really get me into was special ed gym class. And boy, was that fun explaining to other people why I was in a gym class all by myself with other people who had physical or mental handicaps. And the excuse that I kind of came up with was that I was in a gym class because all the other gym classes were full. And because I was kind of the odd man out, they just threw me in that class just to have me in a gym class. And for whatever reason, that excuse worked. So I never got crap for being in a special ed gym class. But that was the only special ed class that I was ever really in. And I am kind of coming to the end of things here. So this apparently is something called my... So this is probably from my very first day of school ever in kindergarten, and it was basically line up and match numbers and letters with the proper ones. For instance, you see you don't draw the W and send it over to the I'm doing this backwards. For instance, you don't take W and put it down here to G. You take the W and you put it to the W. So that was that assignment. So apparently that was my first day of kindergarten. And wow, I've been going for an hour and 9 minutes now. So I started this at 6, and it's a little after 7. I have pretty much come to the bottom of my bin full of nostalgia, and I just got more. All I got left are really notebooks that I just doodled on. I think these are all from high school. Yeah, these are all just high school notes and stuff. So that is my box of art, or my little bin of art and other novelties that I saved from high school. And I'm just going to throw the floor open here. Does anybody of my 3 viewers, do any of you have any questions? Justin, Jacob, or Zombie? If you get any questions, now is the time to throw them in here, or else I'm gonna wrap this up here. So if you got any questions, go ahead and enter them in right now, and I'll just keep it open for another minute or two here. My high school graduation will be held at 1 p.m. June 12th, 1998. And I'll tell you, even my high school graduation was a miserable experience because I was in black. Our school tradition was to wear tuxes, and it was a day much like it is out now. You see the temperature, 88 degrees. That's kind of how it was. So I was a miserable person for my high school graduation. I had a headache, and I was sweating, and my tux was soaked. Yeah, I was happy to be done with that day. And those moments of finality in my life have always never kind of come as you would expect them to come. Because, for instance, like the day, my very last day of school, I remember being in my very final class. I had waited my whole life to hear the final bell go off in class. The final bell ever for high school. The final bell, you know, the one that signifies that time has come for you to move on with that part of your life. And so on my final day of school, it was actually a half day, and so I was waiting for the bell at 11:55 in the morning. And at about 11:45 in the morning, wow, that chat is lagged. Holy crap, I entered that question like a minute ago. Wow, that is really, really lagged. It's like, no wonder why I have such a hard time getting an audience here. Well, I got 4 people watching now. So basically, just to kind of sum up the story, basically what happened was that on my very final day of school, was hoping to hear the bell at 11:55, but they were doing a remodeling project, and at like 11:40, the contractors who are outside working, they actually cut through the power line that powered the school, and so the entire school went dark. And so that final bell that I had waited, 13 years to hear, never came. Like the clock rolled over to like 11:55, and it's like, hey, everybody, you're done, go home, bye. And so that was my last day of high school ever, was kind of walking my way out of the building in darkness because the contractors cut the power line to the school. So anyways, someone just hopped on here now. I don't know who that person is. I'm going to again be Charles Daly. What's my line? Will our mystery guest please sign in and say hello? Now I got 5. Ooh. So yeah, after an hour and 12 minutes, people start tuning in. So I was going to hang it up here for a second, but we got some new viewers here. So basically, for the people who have just kind of come in down the line here, I don't want to leave you hanging too much here. I've just been kind of going through a box of nostalgia from my childhood and kind of showing it off on camera for everybody. So basically, I don't know if there's anything that I went through here that I missed. I got magazines and stuff. But I am feeling much better now. If you had been watching my earlier videos, I did have quite an interesting last weekend with my mental health, where I did have a little bit of a break from reality, and that I had a mixed episode of shall we say, depression and hypomania. Got to go see a doctor for that one. So, because yeah, I've always been like, let's say this line here represents 0 point on on the scale of 1. My cycles have always been kind of like vroom, then I'll go way down for a bit, and then I'll come way back up. And just thinking about it, my weekend last weekend was like this, where I was up and down at the same time, and that's a mixed episode. And quite honestly, I've got a wow, my stream ditched out here. The stream is continuing. What happened? I just seen it go green again. So apparently I'm having some bandwidth problems here. But, you know, my 3 viewers, Justin, Jacob, Zombie, thanks for watching my videos, or thanks for watching this stream here. Video output is low, so yeah, I think it's time to hang it up. I've been going for an hour and 15, and gonna say goodbye. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.